Hey, welcome to Digging Into the Bible. My name is Jim Barnard. This is a production of Tiller Coaching. All right, it's day 26. Thank you for joining me. Check it out. With today's episode going forward, we have 2 more weeks, 14 more episodes to go, and so we're cruising right along, and that's great. But speaking of great, how awesome was yesterday? Having Alicia join me was just the best. I loved it so much. I wish that could happen more often. I'm going to push for it. I don't know if it'll happen anytime soon, but a boy can dream. Speaking of dreaming, I've been, struggling to get that elusive sub 5, but today, all right, let's give it a shot. With that as the backdrop, let's go ahead and dig in. This is Romans chapter 11, starting at verse 1. I ask then, has God rejected his people? By no means, for I myself am an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, a member of the tribe of Benjamin. God has not rejected his people whom he foreknew. Do you not know what the scripture says of Elijah, how he appeals to God against Israel? Lord, they have killed your prophets, they have demolished your altars. I alone am left, and they seek my life. But what is God's reply to him? I have kept for myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to Baal. So too at the present time there is a remnant chosen by grace. But if it is by grace, it is no longer on the basis of works. Otherwise grace would no longer be grace. What then? Israel failed to obtain what it was seeking. The elect obtained it, but the rest were hardened. As it is written, God gave them a spirit of stupor, eyes that would not see and ears that would not hear, down to this very day. And David says, let their table become a snare and a trap, a stumbling block, and a retribution for them. Let their eyes be darkened so they cannot see, and bend their backs forever. So Paul asked this question at the beginning of, did God reject his people? And the answer is by no means. That's just not real. If that were the case, Paul absolutely would have been rejected, which he clearly hasn't been. That's just not real for him. I know a lot of people that have this feeling, though, this feeling of being rejected by God, and I hate that for them. That wrecks me in so many different ways. It's a tough place to be. I just don't think that this reality of being rejected by God is an actual reality. If there was anyone who deserved to be rejected by God, it was Paul. Paul absolutely deserved to be rejected. I mean, think about back to Acts. He was such a zealot, for the law that he would participate in killing the law-breaking Christians. He was all about it. He was crushing things. If there's anyone that was qualified to be rejected, it was absolutely him. But he had an absolute real encounter with the Lord. This encounter changed absolutely everything. And I really think that Paul wants that for everyone. He wants that for the Israelites. He wants that for the Gentiles. He wants that for you. He wants that for me. He wants that, so badly. I think for him, the law was truly a stumbling block. Grace saved him. That's the thing that entered into his life. The Lord had an encounter and grace saved him. And if that's real, it can be real for any of us. It really doesn't matter what you've done or what you've not done. You know what I'm saying? Just like any of Paul's Jewish zealot counterparts, we can confess with our mouth and believe in our hearts. And I believe that feeling of rejection will absolutely fade away. That's my heart's desire. We talked about confessing with our mouth and believing in our hearts the other day, and I know that sounds so simple. But if you're feeling rejected by God, I just wonder if maybe there's a chance that you've rejected him first. I don't know. I don't know your situation. What I do know is I got to sub 5 today, and that's really great. And I also know that you can absolutely have this feeling of non-rejection. So with that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue on with Romans chapter 11. I'll see you then.